We are continuing with the Otzar based in the warehouses of the Basin. And to go on at this point, I think it's important to go back and look at a few of the psukim that we've looked at a long time ago. So in Vayikra, Leviticus chapter Kaf-Hey 25, psukim Chaf to Chaf Gimel, verses 20 to 23. V'kisamru, and if you will say, Manochal b'shna hashvis, what will we eat in the seventh year? Hen lo nizra v'lo nesafes tvuaseinu. We're not going to plant, and we're not going to harvest our crops. V'tzvisi asbir chasi lechem b'shna shishis, I will command my bracha to you in the sixth year. V'yasases etvua l'shlosh hashanim, and there will be enough produce for 3 years. Uzratem eshna sashminis, and you will plant in the 8th year. V'achaltem min hatvua yashan, and you will eat from the old produce ad shnat tchi'is, until the 9th year. Ad bo tvuasa, until you get its harvest. Tochlu yashan, you will eat old produce. Varetz lo simacher litzmisus, and the land will not be sold for eternity. Ki li haaretz, because the land is mine. This is a key point. Ki garim v'soshavim atem imadi, because you are sojourners and dwellers with me in the land. Ki li haaretz, the land is mine. The point of Shmita, of Yovel, of the sabbatical year, is that you should know that the land belongs to God. It is not your land. So Otzar based in, if you remember back to when we were discussing how to harvest, you're only allowed to harvest in certain ways because you have to show that the harvest has to show it's not my land. So if it's not my land I'm harvesting, I'm obviously showing it's not my land, but I'm still limited in certain things to harvesting enough for 3 meals. If I'm harvesting for many people, I can be obviously harvesting much more. If I'm harvesting for the Basin, and the Basin is supplying to 1 million people, then I can harvest enough for 3 million meals. Anyway, so we saw that this is not mentioned, or we didn't see, but if you go through the entire Ramam, you'll see he never mentions this concept of Otzar based in. So the Radbaz, who was the Rav of Egypt several hundred years after the Rambam was, in his commentary on the Rambam, he wonders about this. V'shmita tosefta, and the Rambam omitted the tosefta. Dahyu shluchei based in Yוצאין, that mentioned that the agents of the Basin would go out. Lefi she'inu halacha, because maybe it's because it wasn't a halacha. And we'll see what that means in a minute, or I'll explain what that means in a minute. Inami she'enu elo b'Berashona שהיו שם Basin Otzrין ומחלקים וכתב משנתנו כצורתה. And or maybe it was only because the Basin did it this way originally, and so the Rambam preserved the Mishnah in its form. So he's saying 2 possibilities. One is there is no requirement upon us, upon a Basin, to set up a warehouse to provide people with fruits and vegetables. The Basin may do it if they want to, but it's not something that they're required to do. That's one answer that the Rambam says. The other says the Mishnah didn't mention it because this is something that the Basin used to do, but it doesn't do anymore. And because of that, the Rambam didn't include it in his Sefer Halacha. Now, either way you look at it, a Basin could choose to do this. And if the Basin chooses to do this, then they would be able to harvest for all of these people at one time. Or since they're not the owners, they don't have to do something that shows they don't own it, and so on. Now, the first time this discussion in modern times with Otzar based in that I've been able to find is in the letters of Rav Kook. It is after, this has to be for a second, third. It has to be about the 4th modern Shmita, when Rav Shmuel Salant and Rabbi Yehoshua Leib Diskin had already passed away, and the leading Rav in Yerushalayim at this point was Rav Chaim Berlin. So Rav Kook writes to Rav Berlin, Hinene yotzei li chova l'odia et kavod Torah saroma shehi, and I have to fulfill my obligation to make known to his lofty Torah. This is a way of referring to important rabbis, that he should live long. Shagam reishisa inyan, even from the very beginning of this matter of the Shmita. Keshariti es nechitzos hashimush beheter hafka al yidei mechira klalis yishuv Eretz Yisrael. When I saw the pressing nature that is forcing us to use something to remove the sanctity of the land through selling it for the settlement in Eretz Yisrael. Gemarti b'dati lasos b'chol zos as kol ma she'efshar l'tzeis yedei chovas kol hadeos. Nonetheless, I saw it as my obligation to do everything I could to fulfill the matter according to all opinions. Ve'al ken, therefore, tikanti chotzmos shachakuk alehem, she'mechir b'shvi'is yerak b'shvil hamachshirim v'hatorach, that I prepared stamps where it says that the price during the Shmita year is only for the use of the farmer's machinery and his work. So that the money shouldn't have the sanctity of Shmita and all of the problems that would involve, which we've discussed previously. And to do the buying and selling along with other things, meaning that when they sell the produce from the farm, they don't only sell the produce, they sell the boxes, they're being paid for their work, they sell the boxes and so on. V'maser kocham lebeistin, and they give the authority to Beis Din. V'shtar hashash Beis Din marshim la'balim hanal lasos b'rshustam kol ma shenidres l'mechiras haperos b'derech heter. They give the authority to the Beis Din to sell the land, and we give them the rights. The Beis Din authorizes them to do everything that they have to do to bring the fruit and vegetables to market in a permitted way. Dahinu lekachet mehem schar tircham umachshirim, that they can take the payment for their labor and their equipment. Elashimro shiskamti shekevan sheyesh lanu yisoda mechira, but because we are also doing at the same time selling the land, sheme'az samchu alav levad, and then originally they only relied on selling the land. I'm adding, Rav Kook says, I'm adding something else. Ein ledakte kol kach kama yikchu ba'ad hamachshirim v'atorach. Therefore, we do not have to actually figure out what the value of the materials and their labor is. Kevan shedavar mefurash she'ein hadamim ba'ad gufa peros, because we are saying explicitly on the packaging that you are not paying for the fruit. Ve'ein lidchok et b'nei hamoshavos amusim b'masa shel dachat gadol matzavam, and we should not press the people from the settlements that are in a very, very difficult situation. Hashem yiramom karnam. God should raise them up so that they shouldn't have to do this. Now, Rav Kook is saying, without using the words Otzar Beis Din, he is creating an Otzar Beis Din, meaning the Beis Din that does the mechira also authorizes the owners of the field to gather and sell the produce, and collect for that their labor and the rental on their machinery. So Rav Berlin responds, Simachti levi besorot mechtavo elai. I was very happy in the letter that you wrote to me. Ki sof sof avdei rabbanan shlama b'hadayhu, because in the end we are able to create peace among the rabbis in this matter. Umiyom al dati, from the time that I became of intelligent matter, chaver ani lekol talmidei chacham im harmabim shalom be'olam, I am a partner to all the scholars that increase peace in the world. Va'af b'didun shelifanenu, and also in this matter before us, meaning the Shmita, Shekol ma shehitzliach masei satan ba'avonosenu harabim, latzmiach kategoria bein talmidei chachamim, and everything that the Satan has been successful in creating fighting among talmidei chachamim, lo hayu b'zei shum shinui ikar, I have not changed it all. Ve'amech kulam tzadikim be'ezras Hashem yisbarach, and your people should all be tzadikim with the help of God. V'kulam lo niskavnu ela l'shem shamayim, and none of them should have had any intent except for the sake of heaven. So we see that Rav Kook established the Otzar Beis. Now everyone says Rav Kook, well, I should say in the United States, it's a well-known fact that is not true, of course, that Rav Kook established the Heter Mechira. He did not, and that the Chazon Ish established the first modern Otzar Beis, which he did not, which Rav Kook did. So the Chazon Ish writes about the idea of the Mechira. Uma detanya b'tosefta huva b'rambam ub'rash. What is the Tosefta that was quoted, that's brought in the Rambam and the Rash? Bizman she'ish Otzar al pi Beis, when there is a Otzar Beis, dorachin anavim begas, we are allowed to harvest in our normal ways and so on. And I will skip the rest of the Tosefta. Umashma b'tosfos sham, and it's clear from the Tosfos there, excuse me, the Tosefta there, shabotzrin hakol b'bas achas, that you can do it all at one time. V'lo me'at me'at, and not a little bit at a time. V'yesh raya mikan, and we can see from this Tosefta, da'af l'das Rambam, even according to the opinion of the Rambam, ein iser rak b'balim, the only prohibition of harvesting the whole field at one time is for the nominal owners of the field, the people that own it the other 6 years. Vayin l'kamen sivkat and tes, and look later on in subparagraph 9, and if you're doing more, it's possible that there is a rabbinic prohibition for other people to harvest a lot at one time. Harvesting a lot at one time is defined as more than 3 meals per person that you're harvesting for. The Chazon Ish in a letter wrote, Mak shekasavti lachshov kfia torach. What I have written, that when we have an Otzar Beis, we based in charges for the work. Kumuvan she'ena b'shvil lachsoch kesef. It's not to save money. Rak hovosenu shi'e masenu machrizin al kiyum haTorah u'lefarsim kiyum mitzosaha. But we have to do this in order to show that we are fulfilling the words of the Torah and to publicize that we are keeping its mitzvahs. When you calculate the price, then if we would calculate the price as we do in all the other years, we would completely forget. No, people buying it wouldn't understand that this is Shmita and it's different. I don't care whether they're charging more or less for their labor during the Shmita year, but the price should be different. So the Chazon Ish is saying, we have to do something here that makes it clear that this is not the normal way things are going on. Next time we will conclude our analysis of Otzar Beis and have a brief look at some of the other things that can be done in the fields to deal with problems of Shmita.